Right then, another TT video. So this is rolling straight from the last one into the workshop. Let's get cracking with some stuff. So everything here is probably diesel TT. You don't normally see many here. Mark 1 diesel TTs, but anyway. Silly noisy engine. We're racing this in less than 2 weeks. By the time we started working on it, we've probably got less than a week to get it turned around, and that's going to be fitting most of this stuff, full checks, alignment, everything. So we've got a lot to do. But basically, we'll run through some of the stuff. Some of it's missing, some of it might not be going on, but some of it want some opinions on. So we'll start out with the cooling stuff. Intercooler, we're going to get that banged on because can't hurt to have more intercooling than you need. It's quite an heavy thing this, so I'm hoping it's not a bad move. But we'll, if we don't see the cooling we want, we'll probably end up with a smaller intercooler. I'd love to put it where the TCR cars have it, because you don't get a smack then when you have a little crash. But anyway, radiator, this is a triple pass, whatever it is, radiator, so this should be better than the standard ones. The main reason for getting rid of them, they've got plastic end tanks on both, so we don't want that. This cooler, it's a Cetrab one. This is the high pressure one. We got this specifically for the gearbox on one of the Audis that we had before, one of the A5s. This will take 20 bar working pressure, which the other ones are sort of happy about 10, 11 bar. These are happy a bit higher. Not as good at cooling, but it's what I prefer on race cars with DSGs anyway. So the plates and the pipes, we'll sort all that out when we mounted where these are going to go. Same for the engine oil cooler. That's just a 19 row universal cooler. We'll stick that on where we can, try and get some good cooling there. And then this sump, these are from Wortec. These are in the UK. So these cars have actually already got the sumps on. Though no way these could have done any racing without them, because these have got like a little bit of a baffle on them that stop the oil rushing away from the pickup. And yeah, you need these if you're going to be taking them on track. The standard sump's plastic, so you don't want to run without that if you can help it. And apparently they allow a bit better cooling, so we shall see. The intercooler needs these pipes as well. This inlet manifold, now this was one of Scott's purchases. Not sure how good it's going to be. Not sure what brand it is, or I'm sure its origin is going to be the Middle East or the Far East, sorry. So yeah, if anybody's used these, let us know if they were any good or not. I think we're probably going to end up doing this as a back-to-back test, just to be sure it's not making things worse. But bit of swarf in there. It's not where you want your gasket all. But anyway, hopefully that'll work. But that's not going on this time yet, so we've got time. You can let us know. So we've not got everything here, but we're going to be servicing the DSG obviously at the same time, servicing the engine, genuine filter at the same time. We've got these racing spark plugs. Now apparently these were 25 quid each, which is just absolutely absurd. So if anybody knows a better option that ain't going to cost us that every time we want to change them, let us know and we'll do it to the other car. Go fast bits, which I've took it out of the packet for some reason, but these dump valves, I think they're made in Australia. These are what KTM and I believe Volkswagen in some, and Audi in some iterations run, so they must be good. So we'll put that on anyway, just to replace the plastic one. We're not having any problems with them, but I'm sure at some point we will. RBF 660 fluid. Don't know what's in these, don't know how long it's been in, so we'll change that anyway. That's what we're running all our cars. So then, here we've got it. Yeah, IS38 turbo, Golf R spec. So this is not a hybrid, just a standard one. So that should do what we need it to do. We're not wanting anything too crazy, and we're not wanting any unreliability, so we'll not be pushing it too hard. If we wanted more than this would give, sort of between 50 horsepower what this would give, then we need a bigger turbo. But we'll see how things go. I know these can be crazy power and still be quite reliable, so if we've got all the cooling mods done, making sure the oil's where it needs to be, making sure the temperature's where they need to be. I can't see any reason why we can't push these quite hard and have a lot of reliability. So there's tons of other little jobs to do. We've started getting the V-Box in there, Race Logic V-Box. We put them in all our cars, even though it's got the AIM dash. We're going to use that for data logging and the engine parameters, and then we're going to use the V-Box for displaying everything and easy use and stuff like that. I think with a bit of time we could probably get the AIM to do what we need to do, but the Race Logic just works, so we'll do that. Yeah, and I'm hoping maybe not going to happen before the first race. I need to get it all sorted, but I want to figure out what springs to put on these, where to go with the damper settings. But like I said, the first time I'm going to be using this, I'm not going to bother testing. It's going to be straight into quali and then straight into a race. So we'll see. I'm not expecting miracles. We're not going to be power testing, so even if I won it, there'd be no trophies. So I'm not going to do anything too crazy. And it's not a championship race anyway, so I won't want to ruin anybody's race. So yeah, we'll leave it to Paul and Toby to get ripped into this when they've got chance. There's loads of little repairs that they're going to be doing as they're doing things, so but we'll try and get the chunky stuff done first, the repairs done after, and then we'll see how we get on. So some more parts have arrived for the TT, but as you can see, things are looking a bit real. Things are happening. So this is a new intercooler, radiator, oil cooler setup that we're trying to get together. So Paul's just on with that at the minute. I think he's just making up a little bit of a tube or whatever to join this together, and then we can get this all bolted back up. But the things that have arrived now, they've only just come now. They've been stuck in customs, which is a new common theme. This is the oil cooler plate, which, for anybody that knows these engines, is just down there. Let's smack it back at alternator, so that's going to be a nice job to sort out. Probably inlet manifold off job, which I don't really want to be doing now. Not really sure we've got time to be doing this stuff. We've got like 3 days until this is meant to be on track racing, so we'll see. But that comes with pipes and all this carry on to bypass the water thing. So anyway, it's got what it needs. Upgraded water pump. Not sure how much better this is than the standard one, but apparently it's better. So we shall see. Don't think we're going to get time to do that yet. And upgraded fuel pump, which we don't need to do this just yet until we've got the bigger turbo. So it's here now anyway. We've got what we need. Keep them to one side until we need them. Then we'll get cracking. So we'll leave Paul and Toby to be doing what they're doing. At the minute, the brake lines are off because we're reinstating the ABS, because before, go this way Danny, sorry to have you keep following me. The ABS were all capped off with these little dash fittings, but they're ready to be piped back up properly now. So we'll see. So this will be quite experimental what we're doing this weekend. It's going to have a lot of stuff changed on it from last time we drove it. So I hope it all goes to plan. How much we're going to touch base, we're getting this ready, I'm not too sure, because we're absolutely flat out trying to get it ready. And this is in between customer cars and stuff like that. So we shall see. We'll get cracked on. So we're finally in the dyno. See, we've got the oil cooler on for the gearbox and the engine oil cooler down here, and obviously the radiator, intercooler. There's been loads of other stuff as well, which we'll have a look inside because I've not really looked at them. But there's a few bits still to put on. I've got my seating finally that the lads at Graphic Innovation Group have wrapped red for me, which suits the car a lot better. Box of bits that we're going to be fitting while we're at track. And oh, the other thing that I forgot to mention that we can see under the bonnet, we finally got the ABS all hooked back up, so that's all done nicely with bulkhead fittings and stuff like that. So hopefully that works. If not, we're taking all the lines to take it back off again, but I'm hoping it does work. So we'll see how that pans out. So the main thing that we're here for at the dyno, I'm going to quickly run through this because this video does not want to be long. So if we look here, the 278 is what it did last time we had it on the dyno when we quickly put it on with the slick tyres on just to see what it were doing. And we've got what, 310 pounds of torque, something like that. So that's pretty good. Nice big spread, sort of diesel-like curves, but just a little bit lower. A diesel at that power would probably be near 400 pounds, but anyway. So that's pretty good. But then if you look at the purple line, this is what it did yesterday when we put it on the dyno. Just dipping off at the top here, which we thought it were a misfire, so then we faffed about, which it weren't on the misfire counter on the ECU, but then we've messed about, we swapped the coil pack, swapped the spark plug, swapped the dump valve back, made absolutely no difference. So then what we did, we just flashed it back to stock and it went away. So this should be 230 horsepower stock, it's done 221, which is pretty good, and 275 pounds of torque, which it dips off a little bit. But the problem we've got here, what I can see, peak power is at 4,700 RPM. So, and then it drops off slowly, not massively, it drops off slowly, not like a diesel would. A diesel would be sort of dead by then, but really flat. And the championship that we're racing in just this weekend, they've said, because we're going to be a guest entry, we can't have significantly more power to weight than the other cars. And this roughly, which I'm going to have to convert it to wheel power and stuff, it should be about 195 wheels, something like that, at the weight this is at. At this, we should be bang on the same sort of power to weight as the Golf. So it'll be a good comparison to see what difference they are. I know this weren't as quick as the Golf last time we had it out, and I've still not put brand new tyres on and stuff like that. But excuses aside, I don't think it'll be as quick as the Golf, but it shouldn't be far off, at least on the straights. So while we were here, and to be sure that everything were working all right, I'll just get rid of this one because this is just getting in his way. This red line, which I think before, these tyres are sapping a little bit more power than the slicks were. But this tune is a tune that our friend Johan in the Netherlands has done. He's really good with these TFSI engines. He's got a really nice loop on. He's done a tune for us, which is not as much as this will do. It's a nice sort of track spec tune, which it's done pretty much the same at the top end and a little bit more right down low than the other tune. And for some reason, which we're going to look at the files and have a play with and make sure we can see, the stock file, the coolant temperatures were way higher than before, which obviously we've done a lot of cooling stuff. But then with the tune file, it does like 97 instead of 105 or whatever it is. So there's definitely some electronic control going over the water pump, thermostat, that sort of stuff. We've not looked into it to know exactly what's going on, but same as on the diesel stuff. So we'll have a play with that and get the temperatures down, because obviously we're going to be doing 45-minute racing this at the weekend, and it's only ever done 20-minute sprints. So we thought we'd finish just looking at what Paul's doing here. So this is string lines. This is how we set up the race cars. You can see the difference in the width of the front and rear. Definitely want some bigger spaces on the back and wider arms. Wider arms, but you always want the front to be wider than the rear anyway, so this will make it turn in nice, but we don't want to go wider all round. So the reason we use the strings, you can't bend the string, so as long as you set it up nicely, which it's all custom what we've done, axle stands and then custom tube and stuff, it's fine. So we set these, I want to set as usual, a millitel out of the rear and a millitel out of the front. Got the camber, I think we're at 4 degrees at the front, it's probably 2.5 degrees at the rear, roughly. But then and he's not happy with his work. He should be upset, but he's had to chop the top mount so that we could actually get to the adjustments. I'm not sure what they've been doing with this before, but this is not ideal. We do want to make up a plate that we're going to weld onto here then to strengthen that back. You know, we might get a strut brace or something like that, but it is what it is for now. That'll work for this weekend. We're only doing one race, test everything else. When we put the stiffer springs on, sort that out. So anyway, we're going to get it all back together, sort out a few other little bits, but this is not going until tomorrow, and Scott wants to be gone 10 minutes ago with a Golf, so we're going to help him get sorted. Paul's going to finish building the spare gearbox for the Golf, then they're going to set off, and then I'm setting off tomorrow with Mark separately down. So the start of the next video should be loading this up and then going down there tomorrow. And I'm going to try and do a bit of a video just focusing on this, but me and Scott might be swapping in the TT, so swapping between the Golf and the TT on this one, so we'll see. Thank you.